concern here is obviously flooding and storm surge.
Tropical storm Elsa on the move. The storm making landfall again just a few hours ago in Taylor County, Florida. Now speeding towards the state's east coast. Bands of heavy rain and wind lashing communities from Jacksonville all the way up to and through Georgia, the Carolinas, and eventually heading up into and through the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, it doesn't stop there. Elsa will continue to run up the East Coast this week, bringing a threat for heavy rain, tropical storm force winds, and flooding to parts of the mid-Atlantic and even the Northeast.
And we need to keep our guard up. Even though Elsa is moving over land, it still has the potential to strengthen as it moves up the Interstate 95 corridor. People in Atlantic City, Boston, and everywhere in between need to start getting ready for possible flooding and power outages.
Here's the latest on Tropical Storm Elsa. Elsa has made landfall over northern Florida, spinning tornadoes in its wake. Tropical storm warnings in effect for areas like Tampa and northern Florida, even the Carolinas, as Elsa tracks to the northeast, even as far as New Jersey. That's where it's going to end or move up towards the end of the week. So, Chris, this storm still has a long way to go.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it is a tropical storm that has the potential for bringing some very heavy rain and eventually and still some strong winds and some power outages as well. So as we watch and take a look at what will be on the way, let's take a look at the very latest and what we know at this hour in terms of the landfall that it made earlier today around 11 o'clock in Taylor County, Florida, as a tropical storm with winds at 65 miles an hour. You may remember late yesterday becoming a hurricane again and also making landfall again. Did make landfall in Cuba, but now here in the United States with the pressure at 999 millibars and still a lot of thunderstorm activity with this. A lot of rain coming down here in the Big Bend area. Some storm surge, that onshore flow we see right here. It is now, as the storm's going north at 14 miles an hour, winds are still coming in at an angle to a coast that's at an angle. So just about perpendicular here, and that's still pushing water inland a ways. And then beyond that is this, going through Georgia, now this is the cone of uncertainty. So the uncertainty of the center of the storm. So the forecast, the center is right here. And based on historical errors, the forecast essentially has been wrong in the past by this much. And these are the circles that are drawn. And then you make the cone out of it. And about a third of the time, the center of the storm has gone outside of the cone. So just keep that in mind here if you're in the Northeast. It's possible it could be still an inland storm, but also possible that it's going through a sweet spot, which would be bad news, wouldn't be so sweet for parts of the Northeast if it were to re-strengthen. And that is the forecast here for it to get back up to tropical storm strength by the end of this week, 40-mile-per-hour storm. Again, that would be the sustained winds associated with it, with gusts likely stronger than that. So wind speeds right now, gusts in Cross City at 33 miles an hour. Gainesville, we've been seeing some wind gusts stronger than 35 miles an hour. Latest one at 36. Still quite a bit of rain, flash flood warnings in effect here for parts of Florida, with Georgia eventually going to be getting in on the action. South Carolina getting in on the action as well. We're seeing some of that rain here moving into the southern part of Georgia, but Lafayette, Madison, and Taylor counties where there is currently that flash flood warning in effect here, with more rain moving in just north of Tampa. Cedar Key reporting a 56-mile-per-hour wind gust. We're getting a lot of reports here. Horseshoe Beach also seeing a wind gust up to 42 miles an hour. Again, it has made landfall, Molly, but this storm still far from over.
Certainly far from over. And right now, Georgia, and as well as the Carolinas, you are next. The Georgia coast, including areas like this, Savannah, under a tropical storm warning as Elsa starts to approach. Looks pretty calm in Savannah right now, but we do have some rain and some storms moving in your direction. In fact, areas like Savannah today under a Torcon value of 3 for the threat of some spin-ups as Elsa continues its track across Florida and then up the Georgia and Carolina coast. There actually was a confirmed EF0 tornado that was just outside of Jacksonville in Columbia County. That happened earlier today. We don't have any active tornado warnings right now. That's certainly good news. But look at all this moisture still moving across northern Florida, right across that I-10 corridor. It is making it a messy, messy time to be out on the road. Now, that will continue through this evening. You just heard Chris talk about this, that cone of uncertainty that's going to continue right across the central part of Georgia over the Augusta area. But areas like Savannah, Brunswick, I-95, you're under a tornado watch until 8 p.m. this evening. This is brand new, just issued a brand new tornado watch for these areas. This does include Jacksonville, Waycross, Georgia, Brunswick, all the way up into Savannah. So I-16, I-95 just have to be on alert for this evening. For any of these spin-ups, they do happen fast in tropical systems, and they're typically, they don't last that long, and they're typically wrapped in rain, so you won't see them coming. This cone of uncertainty, you can see it here. Remember, this is tracking the center of this storm. So we will see impacts well outside the center, and that does include areas like Charleston. You'll see this here on the high-res future radar, where a lot of the rain is to the east of the center. A lot of the storms will be to the east of the center. So this is going to push a lot of moisture, a lot of wind into Brunswick, Georgia. This is 6 p.m. this evening. Local time, Savannah, Charleston, even seeing some rain this evening from some of the outer bands. Charleston, a lot of your heavy rain will fall late through the overnight hours into very early tomorrow morning. This will make a very messy start to your Thursday morning before pushing into the Wilmington area and Raleigh by the time we get to Thursday. This is going to pick up speed a little bit, so that's certainly good news. You won't be in the rain and the wind forever, but it is going to be a rough 24 to 36 hours. The wind picking up along the Carolina and Georgia coast, that's going to start tomorrow morning. You can see areas like Charleston could see wind gusts up to 35, even 40 miles per hour. For tomorrow, the zone of severe weather possible, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Morehead City, all the way up to Norfolk, as well as Virginia Beach. That's where we could see that squally weather, some of those really heavy downpours, as well as those gusty winds and potentially some spin-up tornadoes as well, Chris. But it doesn't stop here. We're looking at potentially all the way up into the mid-Atlantic and then the Northeast. We're talking about any big city along the eastern half of the United States, the coast, right, pretty much in the line of seeing some impacts from Elsa.
Yeah, and these are some of the big cities here in the
biggest
United
of the big,
States.
yeah.
That's right. As we look at some of these areas that have already been hit by some strong storms yesterday. Now, not a tropical system. These were severe thunderstorms in some cases, but possible similar results here. Unfortunately, you can see a tree on a home there in New Jersey and parts of trees and power lines down also in parts of Connecticut. So by the end of this week, could be dealing with, and now keep in mind, we also have a chance for storms again today, but this is for the end of the week here across parts of the Northeast and the mid-Atlantic. We're seeing at least the possibility for re-strengthening. That is the forecast back to a tropical storm from possibly as early as it's coming off of the coast again, offshore in the mid-Atlantic, to going right up through New England. And 3 to 5 inches of rainfall is possible with this. So this is one forecast model, but you get the idea that it's going to be tapping into it, and it's bringing with it some of its baggage. This storm is going to be tropical moisture, and it's also going to be helping to wrap. It's also going to help wrap some of that Atlantic moisture into the Northeast as well. So here's the GFS model, and again, this is one possible outcome. This could be how it plays out here with that area of low pressure. You can see would be a closed low here with a lot of rain associated with it. 9 o'clock just offshore here Friday morning, and then by late Friday afternoon into the evening hours, going to watch it move through New England and then up into Canada. As far as the winds go, this is what our current wind forecast is showing. By Wednesday at 10 o'clock, winds will be whipping up 25 to 30 miles an hour from Ocean City to Atlantic City. And then things get going again here. Here's 4 o'clock on Thursday, and then by overnight Thursday, so Thursday night into early Friday morning, things will be whipping again here. Ocean City up to 50 mile an hour wind gusts, 25 to 30 here in Atlantic City, and then continuing through the morning until it finally moves out of here late in the day on Friday in the Northeast. So Elsa does have a long way to go here, and before it does, again, more strong winds, possibly some real rough surf and some heavy rain, which could lead to some flooding. Here's the forecast for Norfolk, Virginia and Virginia Beach, with storms picking up on Thursday into the afternoon, evening hours. This is now the nighttime. Not until after midnight here in Virginia will we finally be able to say goodbye here, Molly, in Virginia to Elsa.
Well, we are going to see some power outages, certainly. There already are some in that area from the storms that we saw yesterday in the Northeast, and we could potentially see some more power outages in this area. So when your power goes out, what do? Well, first you want to have a plan, and certainly that plan does include in areas like New Jersey as well as up into New York, where power's already out and the heat is just sweltering in those areas. Quite a few power outages across the state of Florida as well as Elsa continues to move through. So talking about that plan for power outages, you have to be prepared. And for more on that, we've got the latest from Mike Bettis.
Strong storms can bring power outages, so here are a few things you can do to stay safe when the power goes out. Without power, you can break out the generator, your grill, or some other similar item, but make sure to use it outside in a well-ventilated area to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide is an odorless and colorless gas that can be deadly. The water supply can also be compromised during a power outage, so check with local authorities on the safety of your water and boil it if recommended. According to the CDC, if the power is out for less than 4 hours, the food in your fridge is probably safe, but keep those doors closed as much as possible. But when it comes to food, when in doubt, throw it out. If the power's been out for more than a day, it's best to toss out any refrigerated medicines. If they're life-saving, use them, but get a replacement as soon as possible. If it's hot and you don't have air conditioning, look for a shelter that does, something like a mall or a store, or maybe take a cold shower. Fans alone don't really prevent heat-related illness. As with any storm, make sure you have an emergency plan and a disaster supply kit that covers you, your family, and your pets for at least 3 days. Better to be safe than sorry.
Oh, look now at the thunderstorms hanging over Manhattan yesterday. New York City getting slammed by a combination of heavy rain, lightning, and of course the miserably hot temperatures. The city under a heat advisory again today, with more potentially severe storms this afternoon and again tonight. And Chris, it's rough because there's some power outages in the area. Not a lot of places up there have AC, and that heat index could climb to 100 today, and that's going to provide more than enough fuel to get those storms going.
That's right. And after what we saw yesterday across parts of the Northeast, not what we're looking for, not looking forward to it, of course, at all. As we look at the big picture here, we can see a lot of action in the Southeast, also in the upper Midwest, and even some thunderstorms firing right now and turning severe here in Michigan. We can see just to the southwest of Saginaw, there's a severe thunderstorm warning here that's currently in effect. Showers and storms, the main story right now. So this is north of Lansing and to the east of Grand Rapids. And this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 2 o'clock. We'll see if the National Weather Service up here sees enough that eventually does issue a tornado warning on this, because that's the tag right here. A tornado is possible with this. There's a little that little appendage down here as well. So likely dealing with a rotating storm right now as it is moving off to the east currently. So some of the locations where it eventually will be, including here in Ashley, and then eventually, if it does hold together, getting to the top of the hour, close to the top of the hour, Brant, and then Chesaning as well. So we're watching and continuing to see severe weather popping up in a few areas here, but eventually it's going to be happening again throughout parts of the Northeast. Not exactly like what happened last night, but some of the areas that were hit yesterday and last night could be dealing with some more thunderstorms again. And here we go again. Yesterday afternoon, we were looking at some storms that were coming through this part of New York. And again, just west of Albany is a severe thunderstorm warning. And we'll get back to that threat in just a moment. But again, Molly, dealing with this tropical storm Elsa, again, a 65-mile-per-hour storm. And we know that this eventually also will be on the way to the Northeast. And we'll be talking more about that here over the next few hours as well.
It's kind of a 1-2 punch for the Northeast when you talk about, and they're getting the storms now, and then Elsa is on the way. So let's head back to Florida now, where large waves are crashing over the jetty of the southern end of Clearwater Beach. Look at those waves. Those are some massive waves moving on what is usually a very calm beach, Clearwater Beach in Florida. Let's talk about where Elsa is right now. Made landfall earlier this morning in Taylor County, Florida, near the Steinhatchee area. Look at all of the rain across the northern part of Florida, even extending down just to the north of Tampa. Now, Tampa missed a lot of the brunt of Tropical Storm Elsa, but areas like Fort Myers, you can still see that plume of tropical moisture moving in, although it is starting to let up now. Now Elsa is moving across Florida, and Georgia is next. Areas like Jacksonville, Waycross, Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia, Savannah, under a tornado watch until 8 p.m. this evening local time. You have to watch out for those really quick spin-ups that you always see when tropical systems make landfall. We're going to continue to watch all of this rain push up into this area as well. So it's not just the spin-up tornadoes, the tropical tornadoes. It's not just the wind. This is going to be a huge, huge rainmaker. Tropical storm warnings, Gainesville all the way to Charleston. And we're watching tropical storm watches from Wilmington all the way up to the Atlantic City area.
Eye contact, elbow pump. Very nice, Andrew. Very nice. Next, apparently Carvana doesn't have any bogus fees.
Bogus? No, we work hard for those fees. No $100 fuel fee?
Pumping gas makes me woozy.
Yes.
Thank you.
No $600 dock fee? Ugh, the printing, the organizing.
No $200 cleaning fees.
Microfiber, that chaps my hands.
You know, we should go over there right now and show them how fees are done.
Never pay a dealer fee. With Carvana.
This is what 30 minutes of boot camp tastes like. Come on, Peloton.
Let it flow. Reach all the way up.
Check your vibe. It's time to grind, Peloton. Let's turn it up. Come on.
What's up, hustlers? Welcome to Peloton Outdoors. Let's get jogging.
Find your rhythm, baby. 1, 2, 1, 2. So many Peloton newbies on the leaderboard today. Welcome to the family.
Try Peloton classes free on the app. New members only. Terms apply.
You're strong. You power through chronic migraine. 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more. Botox prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. So if you haven't tried Botox for your chronic migraine, check with your doctor if Botox is right for you and if samples are available.
Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Most patients may pay as little as $0 for Botox. So text to see how you can save. Botox has been preventing headaches and migraines before they even start for 10 years. So ask your doctor about Botox today.
What happens when you make power your thing above everything? You put muscle over matter, and you make horsepower a superpower.
Come on, flowers. Hello, idea.
When you taste silky smooth caramel wrapped in Cadbury chocolate, the world is suddenly overflowing with joy. Cadbury Caramello.
Angie's List is now Angie, and it's easier than ever to get your projects done right. Inside, outside, big or small, Angie helps you find the right solution for whatever you need done. With Angie, you can connect with top local pros and see ratings and reviews. Just search or scroll to see upfront pricing on hundreds of projects. And when you book and pay through Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. It's easy to make your home an Angie home. Check out Angie.com today. Angie, and done.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
Dry eye symptoms keep driving you crazy? Inflammation in your eye might be to blame.
Let's kick Ken's ache and burn into gear.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by lubricating your eyes and may provide temporary relief.
Those drops will probably pass right by me.
Xiidra works differently, targeting inflammation that can cause dry eye disease.
What is that? Xiidra! No!
It can provide lasting relief. Xiidra is the only FDA-approved non-steroid treatment specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort, or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xiidra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts.
Got any room in your eye?
Be proactive about managing your symptoms by talking to your doctor about twice daily Xiidra like I did.
I prefer you didn't.
Xiidra. Not today, dry eye.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
I love to watch the waves after a storm. The storm can be long gone, but the waves just keep going.
Ask my history teacher where to go to college. He said, go where you like the weather. Best advice I've ever gotten.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
We're tracking Elsa here on the Weather Channel as we continue to monitor the conditions out there. Here's the latest with the storm. This is the 11 o'clock update. Waiting on that next intermediate advisory here. And we are dealing still with a 65-mile-per-hour storm. I'd expect this to go down here in the next hour or so. When we get that new advisory in, it's moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. And the threats, though, will not be going down, only increasing for some. Here's the tornado watch that is posted here for parts of Florida and portions, a lot. Look at several counties here in Georgia, including Savannah, Georgia. So from Jacksonville to Savannah, there is the potential for tornadoes today. Of course, the heavy rain bringing that flash flooding threat as well. Lightning, not super crazy at the moment, but I wouldn't rule that out a little bit later on as we get into the afternoon hours. And the forecast is, Molly, for this to re-strengthen once it gets back over the water, back over somewhere in the mid-Atlantic or the Northeast.
It's been a long journey with Elsa, and we still have more to go. And we have to talk about the rip currents, too, because some of you in Florida, it may have passed already. You're thinking, oh, well, let's go out and take a walk on the beach, maybe get in the water. Well, the rip current's still a big, big threat. In fact, planting the red flag here in Clearwater Beach, Florida this morning. Elsa may have roared through the region already, but the storm riled up the Gulf of Mexico. That's also creating dangerous rip currents along many beaches in Florida and elsewhere. So let's talk about the rip current threat as well as some of the surge that we've been seeing with Elsa. You can look and see where Elsa is right now, still over the Taylor County area as it continues to push off to the north and to the northeast. But areas just to the north of Tampa, you've got that really strong onshore flow. That's where the rip currents are the most dangerous. On the backside of this, the Apalachicola area, Mexico Beach, almost have offshore flow. If anything, your water levels are probably lower than what they typically are. Look at some of the surge levels really in check for areas like Fort Myers as well as Port Manatee, just a little bit above a foot in areas like Old Port Tampa. We do still have a storm surge warning from Bradenton, Tampa, all the way up through Cedar Key. So you still have to be really careful with that really strong onshore flow. We also have a little bit higher water in the Cedar Key area, but still, this is nothing that you can't handle in Florida. That's about 2.5 feet in Cedar Key. The rip current's pretty high across areas like Panama City. That's where you've got some of that really, really strong flow, as well as Tampa, Fort Myers. Jacksonville has really, really strong onshore flow as well as Miami Beach. This continues from Savannah all the way through Charleston. Pretty much the entire Atlantic coast of the United States have to be careful of those rip currents. It's just not going to be a great couple of days to get out on the beach. Now, once this passes, it will be much, much better. And Chris, for a lot of people, that's going to pass as we get into the weekend. So Friday looking kind of rough for some areas, but then Saturday, Sunday, it's looking a lot better.
What's not looking better right now, Molly, is that severe weather threat that is unfolding here with breaking news. A tornado warning. That storm we told you about a few minutes ago that did have the tornado possible tag on it. Well, now on it is a tornado warning. A couple of obvious signs that this is likely producing a tornado. That hook, that appendage right here, just like that. You see that? So this is the pattern the raindrops are making when the radar sends out a signal. And just when you recognize this pattern, we can imagine what's going on in the atmosphere. Things like some rising air right here that would create an absence of raindrops there. It's going up. Also, with wind coming down and around the back side of it, it also helps kind of give it that hook shape. So that's one way we look at it. Another way is the velocity, the winds going in different directions right next to each other, opposite. So this is a radar indicated, and that would be it. Looking at those, a couple of those factors, the shape that the radar is making, it has a pretty classic hook look to it, and the fact that there is some rotation on velocity. So here's the details for this. Tornado warning currently in effect. It's in effect until 1:45. Duplain, Elsa, Carland, and Rush, the cities and towns that are in the path of this. And again, that is if it does hold together. But you need to take cover right now if you are within this area. Again, a tornado warning. This is in central Michigan here as storms are starting to fire and bubbling up across parts of the Midwest just south of Ashley. And you can see the appendage. So where that storm likely is somewhere in here would be the tornado just to the west of 127 and just northeast of St. John, so possibly even close to St. John, some of these areas here. Looking again right now at parts of Clinton and Gratiot counties here. This is within an area or close to it where severe weather does remain a possibility today. And again today, like we were seeing yesterday, severe weather possible again in the Northeast. And just a reminder, too, you can watch the Weather Channel's live coverage of Elsa streaming on Roku and Amazon Fire.
I've travelled all over the country talking about saving with Geico. But that's the important bit, isn't it? Showing up, saying, hello, fancy a nice chat. And then we talk like two old friends about sticky buns and all the savings you could get by bundling your home and car insurance. But here's the real secret. Eye contact. Do you feel that? We just had a moment. Who'd have thought it?
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance.
Attention, everyone on Medicare. If you're over 65, you've seen many things over the years. But this year's COVID-19 virus has taken a toll. That's why calling to make sure your Medicare plan is updated for 2021 is so important. Everyone eligible for Medicare is encouraged to call 800-659-8109 now for your free, no-obligation 2021 Medicare Benefits Review.
Hi, I'm Joan London. Many of you may qualify to save money or receive Medicare-approved benefits at no additional cost. But you don't get these savings or additional benefits automatically.
Millions of Americans may not have all of the Medicare benefits that are available to them right now. If you're not sure if you are eligible, just call the number on your screen now for your free, no-obligation Medicare Benefits Review. With all of the news about the virus and vaccines, it's comforting to know your Medicare benefits are there for you. To make sure you're not missing out on other available Medicare-approved benefits, call the number on the screen right now.
They can see if you are eligible for new Medicare benefits like free eyeglasses, prescription drug home delivery, expanded at-home telehealth visits, and an over-the-counter allowance for things like pain relievers or skincare products. You may even be eligible for $0 monthly premiums $0 deductibles, or no copays. Call for your free no-obligation Medicare benefits review to make sure you're getting all the benefits you qualify for.
Call the number on your screen now for your 2021 Medicare Benefits Review. You may be able to save money and receive additional benefits. Call now for your free, no-obligation Medicare Benefits Review. Call 800-659-8109. That's 800-659-8109. 800-659-8109.
Have you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and had serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or had revision or repair surgery? You may have been a victim of a product that was defectively designed, and you may be entitled to compensation. Hernia repair surgeries are one of the most common surgeries performed in the United States, with over 500,000 surgical procedures annually. Recent studies have found higher rates of hernias reopening when hernia mesh has been implanted. If you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and have experienced serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or you later required revision or repair surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you protect your rights and fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience, support staff, and resources to get you the most compensation for your injuries. Call now for a free case review.
This is J Country. Our goal is to find that $1 million boulder. I will dig till my hands bleed.
That's so sketchy, dude.
Anything can shut you down.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
We want to get you some breaking news. A flash flood emergency in Texas right now. This does include the city of Rockport. You can look at all of this rain just streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico just to the north of Corpus Christi. This is where we have the flash flood emergency. It's outlined in hot pink there. It does include the cities of Fulton as well as Rockport, where there are water rescues ongoing right now. This goes until 2:45 Central Time, so local time. This is the rain that's already fallen in the past 12 hours. This is why we're seeing problems. This is on top of really saturated soil. And in Rockport, about 5 inches of rain has already fallen. So that flash flood emergency continues. Just don't get out on the roadways at all in this area. We have, again, water rescues ongoing. The soil is super saturated. The rain is still falling. We could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain or even more, where we start to see that training line up and that rain falling over the same areas over and over and over again. So we're dealing with a lot of water in Texas right now, especially the Rockport area and Fulton, just to the north of Corpus Christi. But we're also dealing with a lot of water still in areas of Florida, moving into Georgia, where Tropical Storm Elsa, Chris, is still moving through.
And it will be for quite some time, Molly, with more heavy rain expected with this. And it's eventually, for the rest of the week, the next few days, we'll be working up essentially that Interstate 95 corridor. But right now, I want to get you caught up with what we know about this storm. The latest on this, it is still a 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. And it is still bringing a lot of rain and still has a pretty obvious onshore push with this. Still pushing that water onshore. Here's the cone of uncertainty. So where the center of the storm is likely to go, either right down the middle, and anywhere in between here is all fair game. And you know what? Even about a third of the time, the center of the storm goes on the outside of this. So this is the center of the storm with the impacts. In this case, a lot of the rain, fortunately, once it gets offshore, will be offshore. But it's still going to wrap plenty in that we could see some flooding across parts of the Northeast as well. Before we get to that, still dealing with this across parts of Florida. Winds still gusting close to 30 or even a little bit more than 30 miles an hour right now. Orlando, a 31-mile-per-hour wind gust recently reported. Still quite a bit of heavy rain, and the potential for flash flooding is still with us. The tornado threat is still with us from Jacksonville to Savannah and right along Interstate 75 as well through, a couple of the counties leading up into Georgia from Florida. Here's that flash flood warning that it does include Perry, Madison, and Day for Lafayette, Madison, and Taylor counties. And the potential for flash flooding through tomorrow morning, not just a possibility, but a likelihood. as it continues to move up. Areas with the storm, including areas outside of Jacksonville on the first coast, all the way up to the entire coast of Georgia and into South Carolina, including Charleston. It's likely there will be more flash flooding. That's just how things go with tropical systems. They tend to bring a lot of very heavy rain, and flash flooding can last well away, several counties or even states away from where it makes landfall. So with that, tropical storm warnings going from the Gulf to the Atlantic, with tropical storm watches going all the way up to, Molly, Atlantic City and possibly beyond in the coming days.
A lot of big cities here in play. So we want to take you to what we know about Tropical Storm Elsa right now. The storm is sustaining 65-mile-per-hour winds, making it a very powerful tropical storm. Crews are working to restore power to thousands of Floridians as Elsa moves away from the Sunshine State. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has expanded the emergency order to 92 southern counties, and North Carolina has activated its emergency operations center as the state braces for Elsa's wrath. Let's talk about the southeast and the Georgia and the Carolina coast, because that's where Elsa is headed next. You can see still moving over Florida right now, but some of those far outer bands starting to move into Brunswick as well as portions of Savannah. Here's what is the center. So you have to always remember the cone is the center of Elsa. We will see impacts well outside the center, including Jacksonville, Savannah, Tybee Island, Folly Beach, Charleston, all the way up into the Carolinas. A lot of this is going to start moving in late this evening. So look at the time on this. This is 6 p.m. local time for Brunswick. Quite a bit of rain, gusty winds, potentially some isolated tornado spin-ups as well. Moving past Savannah very early in the morning, as well as into Charleston, up into Myrtle Beach by very early tomorrow morning, about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, over into the Wilmington area. And then we will continue to see this move all the way up into the mid-Atlantic and all the way to areas like the Jersey Shore. Chris?
I want to get back now to Texas and that flash flood emergency here. This includes Rockport and Fulton. Many areas underwater and a lot of water rescues ongoing right now. Move to higher ground and do not head out right now. Flash flood emergency here in Texas.
I was born on the 4th of July. Grew some wings and learned to fly. Got a wind on my back just like I like. I said simplify, simplify.
Ready to simplify life with diabetes? Get started today with a free 30-day Omnipod Dash trial. Go to omnipod.com/free for risk information, instructions for use, and free trial terms and conditions. Consult your healthcare provider before starting on Omnipod. Simplify diabetes. Simplify life. Omnipod.
Attention. Medicare recipients are entitled to save money and get significant new benefits at no additional cost.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate co-pays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit.
I called to get the new benefits and save money, so I'm not spending money I don't have to spend.
With this virus situation, I called to get everything I'm entitled to. I couldn't believe I was missing out on so many benefits.
Reality is, it's a very uncertain year ahead, so you need to be sure your health care coverage is up to date. Call now. It's free.
I called to get dental, transportation, meals, and the Give Back benefit. They helped me so much.
Get dental care, dentures, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals at no additional cost. And your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month.
With the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare coverage helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-442-6400. That's 1-800-442-6400 now.
2 out of 3 guys experience hair loss by age 35. Kinda scary.
That's why I use Keeps. Keeps offers clinically proven treatments, and the sooner you start, the more hair you can keep. Get started for $1 a day at Keeps.com.
This isn't dry food or wet food. It's not burnt brown pellets. It's real meat and veggies, developed with vets and delivered fresh to you. Visit tryfarmersdog.com to see your dog's personalized meal plan.
So many people are overweight now and asking themselves, why can't I lose weight? For most, the reason is insulin resistance, and they don't even know they have it. Conventional starvation diets don't address insulin resistance. That's why they don't work. Now there's Golo. Golo helps with insulin resistance, getting rid of sugar cravings, helps control stress and emotional eating, and losing weight. Go to Golo.com and see how Golo can change your life. That's GOLO.com.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
Well, this lightning wouldn't quit in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Strong storms there produced a lot of lightning and strong wind gusts overnight. Crews are working to restore power to tens of thousands of people ahead of more storms today. So let's talk about what's going to be going on in the Northeast. We're talking about more storms. This is not related to Elsa at all. So we're going to continue to see these storms kind of bubble up in the heat of the day. We've got a front that has several disturbances along it. That's going to continue to add to what we're seeing as far as the severe weather. So we do have continuing to watch a severe thunderstorm warning as well as a tornado warning. This is for Duplain. This is going to continue until 1:45 Eastern time. This is radar indicated, so we don't have confirmation this is on the ground, but certainly be careful and take shelter in the Duplain area. We almost have a little bit of a hook on radar as well, and that usually indicates that this is a pretty serious storm. Severe weather possible from southern portions of the Great Lakes all the way across into the Hudson Valley. We're talking about State College, areas like Pittsburgh, Scranton, all the way into Hartford, Boston, and New York once again under that threat. Again today, we've got a lot of moisture in place, so dew points very rich in the 60s and 70s. That's going to add the fuel to the fire as far as the storms go this afternoon. When they start to bubble up, they'll start to become very widespread very quickly. And look at those temperatures in the heat index. When you add the dew point together to the temperatures, right now, it feels like 101 in Washington, D.C., 96 in New York City, and 93 in Boston. Look at this. As this continues into the afternoon, we get to the heat of the day, that daytime heating. We have that cold front and that front that's kind of stationary across there, some areas of low pressure, all of that coming together to provide another severe weather threat where we could see some gusty winds, some more power outages again today, some very heavy rain right during the rush hour time frame, continuing through the overnight hours, and also lightning, thunder, a big threat with these as well. So we are going to continue to watch that, as well as when the water starts to pile up. Of course, we saw storms in many of the same areas yesterday. We will see some flash flooding possible, all of Michigan, as well as portions of Ohio over into Pennsylvania. An additional 2 to 3 inches of rain expected. But the farther you go up into areas like Maine, as well as New Hampshire, over into Vermont, that's where we could see 3 to 5 inches of rain. And where we see those repeated heavy rainfalls, that's where the totals could be a little bit higher, Chris, than 5 inches of rain.
There's some stormy days on the way, whether it's what we're dealing with today or what you're going to have the next couple of days because of Elsa. But right now it is sunny and shorts and T-shirts weather here in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Of course, it's not going to stay this way. Does it ever? No, it doesn't. As we're going to be watching Tropical Storm Elsa make its way up through the Mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast, including right here in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. So almost all of New Jersey at least has a chance for seeing, let me rephrase that. All of New Jersey has a chance of seeing the center of this storm come through. Now, may not be a tropical storm as it comes through, but by Friday morning, the forecast does bring it back up to above tropical storm strength. Could be some sort of a hybrid, but regardless, some stormy days are on the way. The cone shows us where the center of the storm will likely go, with the uncertainty knowing the center could go just outside of the cone or the center could go anywhere within that cone. So let's take a look at some of the possibilities of what we're going to be potentially having to deal with. Molly just showed us the rain that's on the way for the Northeast. Here's the European forecast model showing rain just through Friday. And there's pockets in here, including some of the severe weather we're going to see over the next day or so. But there's pockets where 3 to 5 inches will be left over and draining through the waterways when it's all said and done. The GFS model, similar in the amount, but not so much in the location. So while the European is showing a lot more locations with 3 to 5, this is still showing the atmosphere is likely to produce 3 to 5, or it's capable of doing that, just not for as many people. Here's the U.S. GFS, the American model, and here's that area of low pressure. If it does make this track that this shows us going offshore, say leaving New Jersey around Atlantic City. So this goes in line with what the cone is showing us, that it's possible it could go here. It could also move up here a little bit. Regardless, if you're on Long Island, Massachusetts, if you're in Rhode Island, the weather's not going to be a whole lot different depending on the track, to say that we're going to have some of the onshore winds, whether the low is here, whether it's here, and Molly looking at a rainy time as well. So wind and rain on the way for the Northeast. Looks like a certainty here by Friday morning.
Well, we are continuing to watch rain falling in areas like Texas. This is a flash flood emergency for the city of Rockport. We have a lot of rain. It's been falling all throughout the day. 3 to 5 inches of rain has already fallen on really saturated soil. So at this point, everything else that falls is going to just immediately become runoff. The cities of Fulton and Rockport under this flash flood emergency until 2:45 p.m. Central Time, so local time. You can see the threat tag on there is catastrophic. There are water rescues ongoing. A lot of the streets, a lot of the roads in the area have become inundated with water, so do not, under any circumstances, attempt to travel in this. It's just never, ever worth it to get out on those flooded roadways. Again, there are water rescues ongoing in the area. You can see the rainfall totals over the past 12 hours, about 5 inches of rain, and it is still raining. So in Texas, this is about as serious as it gets.
There are times I wonder, why can't I wear white after Labor Day?
Something on your mind? Chew on it. Twizzlers.
Say hello to the new athleisure. Sleek design, cloud-like comfort, athletic technology, and Italian leather. Get comfortable at wolfandshepherds.com.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms. Every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Hi, I'm Jimmy J.J. Walker. If you're on Medicare, listen to this. I called the 1-800 number to see what extra Medicare benefits I could get. An actual person answered, looked up my zip code, and boom, I was offered extra benefits like dental coverage, including dentures, extractions, fillings. Plus prescriptions, transportation, meals, and so much more, all at no additional cost. And then I asked about the benefit that adds money to my Social Security check. And get this, I'm entitled to an extra $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year added to my Social Security check. And I was like, dynamite. Call the 1-800 number on the screen and see what you may be entitled to. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-510-0241. That's 1-800-510-0241 now.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
Welcome to the new tomorrow.
where it's not enough to do it alone. And working together means going all in. To move forward takes a different kind of technology partner, one who's always in your corner and who understands that shared goals are the only ones that matter. And providing that kind of partnership is what we're built to do. Spectrum Enterprise.
Do you have a job? Do you have $136? If you do, we can sell you a new car today.
What about all these cars?
Yep, and many are available with no money down. Check out all of our Hondas, Toyotas, Kias, and Acuras online.
Looking for superior protection against UV damage and early skin aging? Try Neutrogena Ultra Sheer. It provides exceptional cellular protection from burning UVB rays and aging UVA rays. Save 25% at Neutrogena.com.
Oh my God! Evacuate immediately!
A heat advisory is in effect. Currently in our area, 92 degrees under fair skies. Today, scattered thunderstorms. High 93. Chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. Low 75. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 86. Chance of rain 50%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now, moisture from the Gulf Coast fueling the heavy rain for parts of Texas. Here's a look at the early morning commute in Houston. That does not look fun at all. Storms have dropped nearly 3 inches of rain within the past week. Many areas have seen more. Flash flooding is at stake here as we head into the weekend. Let's get straight to the Texas area where we're still watching an ongoing flash flooding emergency for portions of Texas. As we zoom in, you can see the Rockport area as well as the city of Fulton under that flash flood emergency until 2:45 local time. This is about as serious as it gets when it comes to flash flooding. This is a lot of water moving in. We have a lot of water across the roadways. There are some water rescues ongoing. And you can see the threat tag here as catastrophic. It means do not risk it. Do not get out and try to get into this because 5 inches of rain already fallen in the past 12 hours. And we're expecting an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain with some isolated higher amounts. And you can see that rain still streaming in right off the Gulf. So this is some rich tropical moisture that's moving in, and that's going to just increase those rainfall rates. We've had a little bit of thunder and lightning, some convection. That always increases the rainfall rates as well. So the flash flooding very likely Victoria down through Corpus Christi all the way down to the Brownsville area. And when you get those very likely, those high risk flash flooding days, nearly 35% of those flood deaths that happen throughout the year happen on days like today. So this is why you have to take this very, very seriously. There's a lot of atmospheric moisture to work with. Of course, this is coming right off the Gulf, but anywhere you see those really bright pink colors as well as those dark reds, that's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere that these storms are just tapping into, and it's causing the rain to just fall in buckets over many areas. And this is the radar that we've seen over the past about 12 hours or so. This is a lot of rain just pushing into the same areas over and over and over again. At this point, this is why we're very concerned about the flash flooding in these areas because the rain is just not letting up. Look at all this lightning down here in the Brownsville area. That's going to start to move in. And again, as we mentioned, lightning and thunder usually means to those higher rainfall rates. So a lot to still watch here in Texas. This is some very tropical moisture in place. And it seems like, Chris, that even in Texas, even though this is not related to Elsa at all, this is almost more tropical moisture than what we're seeing in areas like Florida and as well into Georgia.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a testament to just how bad it can get with or without a name. And this right here showing in Cedar Key some of the big waves, that water being pushed by Elsa, and the storm making landfall about 2-hour drive on a good day north of here. And earlier this morning, winds gusts up to about 57 miles an hour here, and 3 inches of rain has fallen there in the past 24 hours. And what Molly was just talking about in Texas, more rain than that has fallen in the past couple of hours, past few hours in parts of Texas. So on both sides of the Gulf right now, dealing with some tropical moisture. And this one, Tropical Storm Elsa right now, moving onshore and really hammering the northern part of Florida with some of the heavier rain, including Jacksonville. In fact, the heaviest rain for you in Jacksonville is yet to arrive. So most of the day is going to look like this. What we see right here, 79 tropical degrees right here. It's going to have that very humid feeling. 79 might sound refreshing if you're watching right now from Arizona or New Mexico or the deserts of California. However, that 79 with this kind of humidity is it's real soupy. It's not nice. It's not at all. And add to the fact that there could be some flooding rain as well. It just makes matters worse. Similar story going all the way up and into the Northeast via Georgia, the Carolinas, Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic, and we're talking about the potential for some strong wind and some heavy rain for Long Island, for parts of the Hudson River Valley, Connecticut, Rhode Island, parts of Massachusetts, even New Hampshire and Maine potentially getting in on the action. But before that, there's this. Winds still gusting to around 30 miles an hour in Tampa. A bit as we continue to watch the storm working inland with that flash threat that is ongoing, with flash flood warnings and a tornado threat. Tornado watches posted from the Storm Prediction Center here until 8 o'clock this evening, and this includes much of northeast Florida all the way up to all of coastal Georgia. And in fact, you can go in 3 or 4 counties deep from the coast where we could the threat for tornadoes as the low comes in, mainly to the right side of that low. We're going to see the potential for more tornadoes. Now, right with the center roughly in here, there's heavy rain all around it in Madison County here, also dealing with that flash flood threat. Make sure you stay with the Weather Channel right here for continuing coverage as we track Elsa with live reports and expert analysis you will only find right here on the Weather Channel.
Publishers clearing houses all across America.
August 31st, you could win $5 grand a week for life.
Oh, thank you.
Enter now at PCH.com.
$5 grand a week for life.
Enter now at PCH.com.
We're Thrive Cosmetics, and our liquid lash extensions mascara creates show-stopping lashes that won't pump, flake, or smudge. 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and powered by our high-performance formula. There's a reason this mascara has over 275,000 5-star reviews. Come discover why at ThriveCosmetics.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Ditka. Did you know the average funeral costs around $10,000? And if you don't have enough insurance to cover funeral costs, credit card debt, and other expenses, your family's going to get stuck with a bill. Don't let that happen. Call the Life Insurance Savings Group right now. And if you're between 45 and 85, you can get up to $25,000 in affordable life insurance, and your acceptance is guaranteed.
That's right. If you're between 45 and 85, you can't be turned down for this insurance regardless of your health. Plus, there's no medical exam and no health questions. Your rate will never go up, your coverage will never go down, and rates start at less than $1 a day.
With the Life Insurance Savings Group, your coverage begins as soon as your application is received and accepted. Don't wait until it's too late.
Coverage continues until age 100 and cannot be canceled without your approval as long as premiums are paid regardless of your health. And best of all, you can try it risk-free with our 60-day money-back guarantee.
Don't leave your family with a huge bill for your funeral. Call now and get up to $25,000 in affordable life insurance to help cover funeral expenses, credit card debt, and maybe even leave a little something for your kids and grandkids. Remember, if you're between 45 and 85, you can't be turned down, regardless of your health. There's no medical exam and no health questions.
Best of all, rates start at less than $1 a day, and your rate will never increase.
Nothing's more important than family. So don't leave them with a lot of bills to pay when you're gone.
Call the Life Insurance Savings Group at 800-771-2882 and get up to $25,000 in affordable life insurance. That's the Life Insurance Savings Group at 800-771-2882 or visit us at lifeinsurancesavings.com. Don't leave your family with a lot of bills to pay for your funeral. Call the Life Insurance Savings Group now. Your acceptance is guaranteed. Call now.
Tuition-free, K-12-powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum designed for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Keep your student organized, focused, and academically on track. Discover the power of personalized learning. K-12, education for anyone. Enroll now for the fall.
Introducing the latest advancements in copper compression garments. CopperFit Pro, now with targeted kinesiology compression bands designed to pinpoint and relieve muscle and joint soreness. Kinesiology compression bands are strategically patterned in the garment to target known pain center pressure points and aid in recovery and performance. Purchase your CopperFit Pro series at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Welcome back in. We want to bring you the breaking news out of the Texas area where there is a flash flood emergency ongoing for Rockport as well as the city of Fulton. This is until 2:45 this afternoon local time. The threat is catastrophic because there are water rescues ongoing for this area. 3 to 5 inches of rain has already fallen on super saturated soil. You can see that the rain is still falling in these areas. We could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain where we see that training set up. We've got really heavy rain falling over the same areas. We could see upwards of 3 inches of rain on top of this area that has already seen too much. So we want to keep a close eye on this area. And if you live in Rockport or if you live in Fulton, pretty much anywhere from Corpus Christi down to Brownsville, just don't get out today if you don't have to. It's never worth it to drive over the flooded roadways. Chris?
And Molly, right now, more breaking news to tell you about. The intermediate advisory is in from the National Hurricane Center and now down to a 50-mile-per-hour storm. It is still a tropical storm. It is still moving to the north at 14 miles an hour, and it is still bringing some very heavy rain associated with it. Still an onshore push right here, but what has changed, it is now down out of the 60s and now a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. And the forecast for this does show it staying over land, which is, you know, what's good news for some is going to be bad news for others. That's just the way the tropics work. And with this center staying over land, that means it doesn't have the warm waters to help make it stronger. So continuing to weaken by and through tomorrow morning. But then as it re-enters the waters, at least that taps into more water, more of that warmth at a higher latitude here, likely to strengthen and possibly going from below tropical storm force back up to tropical storm force by Friday morning. And still some strong winds associated with this, a little bit of lightning, a flash flood threat, and a tornado threat as well, remaining through at least 8 o'clock this evening for parts of northeast Florida, including Jacksonville, all of coastal Georgia, and including Savannah, with some of the heaviest rain associated with some of the storms that are going to be in the areas right here, but also beyond that as well. And that heavy rain bringing some flash flooding. Here's for Madison County. And this, of course, here in Florida, also flash flood warnings going up and into Georgia as well. And what you see is while the rain is moving up, it's still going over some of the same areas. And right in here, that's been the story. Close to that center, the heavy rain just lingering longer, and it's cumulative. It adds up. And when you get too much rain over a short period, relatively, of course, that's going to lead to the flooding. And more heavy rain moving into Jacksonville right now. And you just look at the trend of the radar and the movement, you have more on the way here in the coming hours. We've already seen quite a bit of wind, Horseshoe Point winds up to 42 miles an hour. Also wind gusts reported up to 56 miles an hour at Cedar Key. So wind's still a factor, but also it's that rain that's so easy to underestimate, Molly, because of that flood threat. You know, we deal with rain so much, but you don't always deal with tropical rain, which is a whole nother beast.
It's a whole different animal, and it adds up really quickly. So let's get you the latest on Tropical Storm Elsa. Elsa has made landfall in Taylor County along the northern Florida Gulf Coast. More than 21,000 customers are without power in the Sunshine State. As the storm treks into the southeast, Charleston, South Carolina will open a public safety operations center tonight. Savannah, Georgia, under a tropical storm warning as Elsa moves north from Florida. Georgia Power on alert to deal with any power outages caused as the storm rolls past. Elsa expected to move quickly into the Carolinas, leaving Savannah with showers and possible thunderstorms tomorrow. Let's talk about the Georgia coast as well as the Carolina coast, because that is where Elsa is headed next. Possible storms for this evening. Areas like Brunswick, Tybee Island, Savannah, up into Charleston, Folly Beach could see some storms very early tomorrow morning. We're talking about through the overnight hours. There is a Torcon of 3 for areas like Jacksonville, Lake City, Brunswick, Savannah in that for those tropical spin-ups. Anytime we get a tropical system that moves on shore, that risk for spin-ups is always there. They happen very quickly. They spin up very quickly. They don't last for very long, but they can do some damage. Where we're seeing the heaviest rain right now, I-75 between Tampa and I-10, Jacksonville, seeing some very heavy rain. You just heard Chris talk about that. More heavy rain is headed in your direction, and we will see rain move into the Georgia coast as we get into the next couple of hours. A few outer bands right now, but the heavy rain is on the way. This is the cone of uncertainty, so we've got that track. This is the center of Elsa. We will see impacts well outside the center. This is an east-loaded side storm, so this is why the Georgia coast as well as the South Carolina coast and eventually the North Carolina coast all in play as this swirls past. Let's take you into high-res future radar as we get into this evening. So about 6 o'clock this evening, look at this heavy rain, potentially some lightning and some gusty winds moving into the Brunswick area. That pushes up into Savannah and then eventually into Charleston. This is 1 a.m. in Charleston, so you have to be careful through the overnight hours. Just have a way to get those warnings in case you have any tropical spin-ups in your area and you get a quick tornado warning. Have something that will wake you up through the overnight hours, eventually into Wilmington. This is Thursday morning around 10 a.m., so it'll be a rough commute in North Carolina for you tomorrow morning. Some gusty winds, especially along the Carolina coast. In Charleston, we could see upwards of 30, even 35 mile per hour wind gusts. As it gets into North Carolina, those wind gusts potentially getting even stronger. That's going to be coming your way tomorrow in North Carolina with those severe thunderstorms possible. So you have to watch out across the Raleigh area, I-40 into Wilmington. And I think it'll be along the Hatteras Cape, Chris, that we see some of the strongest wind gusts, where they could get 40, potentially even 50 miles per hour as this taps into some of the warm Gulf Stream.
And that trend's going to continue farther to the north as well. Areas that have already seen some severe weather. This was yesterday. Tens of thousands of people without power right now after the strong, severe storms tore through parts of the Northeast. 58 mile per hour wind gusts and heavy rain helped bring down large trees, like this one on the left here in Glen Rock, New Jersey. Crews also cleaning up debris and working to restore power, but of course they have to act quickly because things could get worse as the week goes on, including tonight. Severe weather possible tonight. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first let's talk about Elsa as we continue to watch what Elsa is going to be doing as it's working through Florida and then through the southeast and eventually into the northeast. Here's the cone of uncertainty, so the center of the storm, either going to go right down the middle or just outside of the cone or somewhere within the cone. Regardless, there will be rain and wind battering the coast no matter whether it goes inland, whether that low is here or it's here. You're still going to be dealing with and seeing some very heavy rain and at times some strong and gusty winds here in the Northeast. About that rain, and you see some quick bursts of rainfall with severe weather, but those storms tend to come through in minutes. These could last a lot longer. These heavy rain showers could last a lot longer and be more frequent with the tropical system. It may have kind of mixed qualities. It might be some kind of a hybrid by the time it gets up to the northeast. That being said, though, still going to produce wind, still going to produce some very heavy rain from the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. This is what the American model is showing us by Friday morning. This is 9 o'clock, and if the low ends up right here, or even if it ends up over here, the idea is that wind will be coming onshore, rain will be coming in off of the Atlantic until you get to the backside of it, and then the air's turning more offshore and will be a little bit drier with still that rain coming through much of the day, through much of the northeast, especially around that 95 corridor. And depending how close to the coast the low goes, and it's still a chance it could go onshore the whole way, but I think coastal areas will be pretty much wherever you are. It's going to be tough to escape heavy rain and some strong gusty winds at times. Picking it up here, this is tonight, 10 o'clock, and again, we're going to have some storms come through, but by late tomorrow into Friday is when the heart of Elsa will be coming through. So here's Thursday, late night or early Friday morning, depending on your perspective, how you like to think of the overnight hours. There's that low, and the strong winds, at least with this forecast, do keep it mostly offshore. But I don't think it's going to be necessarily an easy picnic at the beaches here, Molly, come Friday for much of the Northeast. Not looking great.
At least it'll improve a little bit for the weekend, but it's rough in those areas because we already have some power outages in the Northeast. So power crews in the Northeast racing to restore electricity to customers left in the dark after yesterday's storms. And those storms brought some really strong winds. Unfortunately, more winds could cause some additional power outages today, and Tropical Storm Elsa may pose a problem after it moves in later this week. Joining us now is Rebecca Mazzarella, a spokesperson for PSE&G in New Jersey. So welcome, Rebecca. Can you first give us an update on the power outages your customers have already been experiencing?
Sure. Thanks for having me. With the storm that came in very fast and furious yesterday, we had about 40,000 customers who were impacted by the storm. We're happy to report that currently the majority have been restored, with just 3,700 remaining as of 1 p.m. today.
So can you tell us about the challenges of repairing those already down power lines with more strong winds and storms expected today?
Sure. So restoration, the challenges can be many different things, but first and foremost, it's important to know that we are preparing all year to make sure that we can get any power outages restored as quickly and as safely as possible. Because of storms, we're actually doing a lot of investments of our infrastructure, adding smart grid technologies. But there is work that needs to physically be done, and it really depends on how much wind there is and how much tree damage utility poles are located, if they're on the street or in the backyards. So that really just depends kind of what the current situation is.
Well, it's good that you mentioned wind, because on top of that, your teams are also having to face the possibility that Tropical Storm Elsa could bring further disruptions later this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so actually this time last year we had Tropical Storm Faye. It's almost to the day, right? So we are no stranger to extreme weather conditions, and our crews will go out 24/7 in all sorts of conditions, as long as it's safe, to get your power restored as quickly and safely as possible. I think the winds, to go up in bucket trucks, they need to be around, less than 40 miles per hour.
And what message would you like your customers to know today with those storms potentially for the rest of the week? There's no sooner time than now to prepare and get everything in order. What you can do is you need to find out all of the different ways that you can report a power outage. For PSE&G, we have text, we have apps, we have our website, we have the call center. There's lots of different ways to stay connected and report an outage. You also receive updates from your utility. Do the legwork now to download the app or find the information. It's a lot easier to do now before the storm hits than fumbling in the dark when you lose power. Also have a... Oh, go ahead.
That's okay. Also, have a plan. If you end up experiencing an extended power outage, you're going on, several hours, you're not sure if you can stay where you are, plan ahead. You need to find a place where you can bring your pet or your kid, make a couple phone calls to, family and friends, or even your local Office of Emergency Management. They already have those resources available for you.
Some great advice there. Always, always good to be prepared before the storm hits. Thanks, Rebecca Mazzarella. She's the spokesperson for PSE&G in New Jersey. We want to send it over to Chris because we have to talk about those storms that are going to be happening in just a couple of hours.
That's right, with severe weather possible again. So we talk about severe weather, we're talking large hail or damaging winds or a tornado. In this case, it does look like damaging winds will be one of the big threats out of this. Again, we saw a tornado warning earlier in Michigan, right about in there. But the threat for some of the stronger storms today includes some big cities here, from Detroit to Cleveland, through most of Pennsylvania, and in fact all of Pennsylvania, including down to Philly and up to Boston again, over to the Capital District in New York. So thunderstorms still flaring up. This is the one right here that had that tornado warning a little bit earlier. Now a severe thunderstorm warning as we go in. This is now south of Saginaw, and this also tagged tornado possible. And you can see there's that, like we were seeing earlier, that little appendage right there, and that oftentimes is one of the things that we look at to try to determine what's going on with the storm that may show signs of rotation. And just that pattern that the raindrops are making gives you that hint that there could be some spin in there and possibly a tornado about to form. Also a severe thunderstorm right here in Ohio, with thunderstorms continuing in what is a very soupy atmosphere here. Even up in Burlington, dew points high enough to sustain and support, I should say, some severe weather. Getting up into the mid-50s to around 60 degrees is enough. Not quite as warm, though, to the north in Burlington and Bangor, in the 60s and upper 70s. And temperatures, though, feeling quite hot when you factor in those dew points from Binghamton, New York to New York City. There, 96 is what it feels like in the city, Molly.
Well, we want to take you back to Florida now, where large waves crashing over the jetty on the southern end of Clearwater Beach, Florida. This was hours after Elsa had moved away this morning. Officials are assessing the damage. They're reporting some minor flooding, trees down, as well as some power outages. If you're familiar with that area of Florida, Clearwater Beach is beautiful, but it normally does not look that rough out there. So if you see the flags flying, do not get in the water. It is just way too dangerous today with those rip currents and some of that rough surf. You can see Tropical Storm Elsa. This is the latest intermediate advisory from the National Hurricane Center, weakening as it pushes across the northern half of Florida, but still posing quite a threat for areas like Savannah, Brunswick, all the way down to Jacksonville, where there's a tornado watch in effect this evening until 8 p.m. Stay with us for more information as we continue to track Elsa.
Every day is sweet when we're serving you Blizzard treats. Like M&M's, cookie dough, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, Snickers, and Oreo. Thanks for being our fans for all these years. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Not everybody wants the same thing. That's why I go with Liberty Mutual. They customize my car insurance so I only pay for what I need. Because I do things a bit differently. What, teddy bears? What, teddy bears, Hick?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is where legends are made. That's the NBA Finals. That's game.
Attention. Medicare recipients are entitled to save money and get significant new benefits at no additional cost.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate copays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit.
I called to get the new benefits and save money, so I'm not spending money I don't have to spend.
With this virus situation, I called to get everything I'm entitled to. I couldn't believe I was missing out on so many benefits.
Reality is, it's a very uncertain year ahead, so you need to be sure your health care coverage is up to date. Call now. It's free.
I called to get dental, transportation, meals, and the gift bag benefit. They helped me so much.
Get dental care, dentures, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals at no additional cost. And your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month.
With the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare coverage helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-442-6400. That's 1-800-442-6400 now.
Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara gives you the look of professional lash extensions. Our award-winning formula dramatically lengthens and strengthens lashes with all-day staying power. It's no surprise it has over 1 million 5-star reviews. Join our movement today at thrivecosmetics.com.
Jade makes people do crazy things.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stair Lifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stair Lift, the world's leader in stair lifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stair Lifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stair Lift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stair Lift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stair Lift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-504-9810 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-504-9810.
A heat advisory is in effect. Currently in our area, 93 degrees under fair skies. This afternoon, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. High 93, chance of rain 50%. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 74, chance of rain 70%. Thursday, partly cloudy with an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 86. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Evacuate immediately.
Go, go! I'm on!
We want to get you the latest on the breaking news, the flash flood emergency ongoing in Texas right now. This is for the Rockport area. Look at all of that tropical moisture from the Gulf just streaming over and over again into Rockport as well as the city of Fulton. This goes until 2:45 p.m. local time. This is a catastrophic situation going on for areas of Rockport as well as Fulton, and pretty much anywhere from Corpus Christi all the way down to Brownsville. Have to be careful of the flooding today, because in this area where we have the flash flood emergency, there are some water rescues ongoing, and there's also some roads that have been completely covered with water. And so this is why you just cannot risk getting out in this kind of situation, because it is never worth it to drive over those flooded waters and those flooded roadways. About 5 inches of rain has fallen in the past 12 hours, and we are still seeing rain falling. we could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain, and that's on the lower end of what could happen widespread. We could see some additional and isolated amounts, upwards of 3 inches of rain, because the atmospheric moisture is so high here. It's so rich. This is some tropical moisture in place that's going to lead to some very, very impressive rainfall rates, where we could see 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in a very short amount of time. And that's certainly what we're seeing in the city of Rockport right now. We want to bring back in Chris Warren. I think it's interesting. This area is interesting because they're no stranger to a lot of water. This is the same area that Hurricane Harvey made landfall in 2017. And
some of what we're seeing out of there is looks like a tropical system is moving through right now, but it's rainfall. It's not surge. Meanwhile, some surge, but a lot of rainfall with Tropical Storm Elsa. As of the 2 o'clock Eastern advisory from the National Hurricane Center, this is a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. It is still moving to the north at 14 miles an hour, so it's on its way to Georgia. And then it is going to be making a turn in this direction to the northeast. And as it does that, tapping into more moisture from the Atlantic and bringing a flood threat going all the way through the Carolinas, eventually up to the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. But just through the next several hours, these areas here, several counties in Georgia, all the coastal ones, and about 3 or 4 counties inland, and northeast Florida under a tornado watch. Conditions still remain favorable for tornadoes in the northeast part of the storm, in the northeast quadrant of the tropical storm, as is pretty typical. You have an area of low pressure right here, the tropical storm, and quite often it's this part of it where you end up getting some spin, some rotation in some of the thunderstorms that develop. So what we would be expecting with most landfalling systems, frankly, but again, heavy rain, lightning, flash flooding, tornadoes, all possible, Molly, with this.
On top of that, you have to talk about the rip current threat, too, because there are some really rough seas in areas like Clearwater, where they're planting that red flag out on the beach this morning. Elsa may have roared past the region already, but the storm has riled up the Gulf of Mexico, which is creating some dangerous rip currents and some conditions along the beaches of Florida and even elsewhere. So it's not just Florida that's going to be under the risk of rip currents. It's going to be the Georgia, the Carolina coast, pretty much all the way up the mid-Atlantic, up into the northeast. So here is where Elsa is right now. I would not want to be on I-10 or I-75 right now. It is just pouring. We've got some lightning in there as well. What we do have is some really, really strong onshore flow. The surge staying in check right now. Areas like Old Port Tampa, Port Manatee, Fort Myers, all under a foot of that surge. So that's manageable in those areas. It's not welcome, but it certainly is manageable. We still have a storm surge warning, Cedar Key all the way through Tampa, as well as Bradenton. Even though Elsa is already on shore, it has already made landfall, some of those really strong winds still allowing some of the water to pile up. And you can see those really, really strong winds pushing into Cedar Key right now. But it looks like the water in Cedar Key about last hour, it was close to 2.5 feet of water. So it's come down a little bit. It's certainly trending in the right direction. We have a high risk for rip currents, Panama City, all the way down to Tampa, Fort Myers, even areas like Miami. I know Elsa is well past you, but we do have that high risk with those really strong winds that extends up into Jacksonville, as well as the Georgia coast, Savannah, Charleston, Wilmington, pretty much anywhere that you can name along the eastern seaboard. That's where you don't want to be in the water, Chris, for the next couple of days.
And the next few hours, we're watching severe weather ramping up. In fact, Molly, right now I want to get to a tornado warning just issued a few moments ago for northern Illinois, north central Illinois, right along the border with Wisconsin here. Also, some other severe thunderstorm warnings in Michigan and Ohio right now. But we begin with this, the tornado warning that's going right along and just north of Rockford, but right along the border with Wisconsin and Illinois. Here are some of the cities and when it will likely be there. It's a radar-indicated tornado warning, and that tornado warning is in effect for at least about another half an hour or so.
Make more summer fun for less at Target.
Here, you can find your style in every aisle. Got an eye for design? We've got a design for your budget. Want endless aisles of more? We've got more, way more. When you explore our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into. At a price you'll really get into. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Oh, are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool? So you only pay for what you need. Sorry? Limo, you're an animal!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Oh no, you hate coming home to a dark house, and you're uptight about noises outside in the night. Outdoor lighting systems cost a fortune, and leaving lights on all night drives utility bills out of sight. You need the Bell & Howell Bionic Spotlight, the outdoor motion sensor light that is motion activated, so it automatically turns on the instant motion is detected and turns off when the motion stops. Bionic Spotlight is solar powered, so there's no expensive wiring or batteries to change. Simply place it where the solar panel can soak up the sun, and you're done. The panel collects the sun's energy to charge all day, so it has the power to provide light when and where you need it all night. Bionic Spotlight looks just like a professional security camera that is actually a high-tech security light with smart motion sensing technology. Look, the instant the motion sensor detects movement, Bionic Spotlight triggers 8 high-intensity LED lights that shower the entire area with light, covering over 600 square feet. The light stays on for as long as the motion continues, and then shuts off 30 seconds after it stops, so there's no more arriving home to a dark house. Illuminate walkways and stairwells for visitors and guests. Light up your garden at night or the yard for kids and pets. Add Bionic Spotlight to your sports court and to help secure outbuildings and storage sheds. So you can spend hundreds of dollars on an outdoor lighting system, or you can save hundreds of dollars and get the motion-activated Bionic Spotlight for just $19.95 with free shipping. Bionic Spotlight is year-round outdoor durable and weather-resistant and backed by our 5-year warranty. And if it fails for any reason, return it for a full refund. But wait, if you order right now, you can double the offer and get a second Bionic Spotlight. Just pay a separate fee. You get it all. 2 Bionic Spotlights backed by our 5-year warranty for one low-value price. And the shipping is free. And when you call, ask about the contractor's discount on the complete 6-light home value set. Bionic Spotlight is all you need. It's guaranteed. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-3138-148. That's 1-800-3138-148, or order online at BionicSpotlight.com.
This is what 30 minutes of boot camp tastes like. Come on, Peloton. Let it flow. Reach all the way up.
Check your vibe. It's time to grind, Peloton. Let's turn it up. Come on.
What's up, hustlers? Welcome to Peloton Outdoors. Let's get jogging.
Find your rhythm, baby. 1, 2, 1, 2. So many Peloton newbies on the leaderboard today. Welcome to the family.
The Peloton bike starting at $49 a month. All access membership separate.
It seemed like a normal day.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose.
It was complete chaos.
So go!
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
Well, we want to get you to the latest breaking news. This is in Texas, Rockport, Texas specifically, as well as the city of Fulton, where we have seen torrential rainfall. There is a flash flood emergency ongoing for the city of Rockport as well as Fulton until 2:45 local time. I do expect them to probably end up extending that if we continue to see some rain, which is what we're seeing right now. Anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain has already fallen over the surrounding areas, and that is leading to a catastrophic threat of flash flooding. Here are a few of the reports that we've seen. Reports of an entire backyard covered in a few inches of water, as well as high water over some roads in Rockport and in Fulton. There are some water rescues ongoing. So if you live in Rockport, if you live in Fulton, get to the higher ground, and certainly do not drive over those flooded roadways. It is never, ever worth it. We're looking at 5 inches of rain over the past 12 hours with additional 2 to 3 inches of rain still expected. We could see higher than that in areas that we see training set up. So we have repeated heavy rainfall over the same areas. And Chris, the reason why this is so bad here in Texas, it is tapping into the Gulf of Mexico and some very, very tropical moisture.
Yeah, same place Elsa just came from. Elsa had a deeper tap to some of that tropical moisture. I mean, coming all the way from the Atlantic through the Caribbean, up north through Cuba, and then to the point where it is now. And even then, what we're seeing in Texas, in some cases, a lot worse than what we're seeing in some parts of Florida right now. But this is what we're dealing with. It's a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm, and things are not going to be all rosy from here on out, even though it has come down in intensity a bit. Still, flash flooding a concern, and tornadoes as well. That's just for Florida and Georgia, and then beyond. It will continue this week for the rest of the week, really into Saturday morning before we can say completely goodbye to it and watch it move on into Canada by Saturday morning and possibly re-strengthening. Again, it's 50 miles an hour right now. By tomorrow morning, looking potential after some time over land through Georgia into South Carolina, down to just below that 38-mile-per-hour threshold there. So just below tropical storm force, and then potentially getting back up to it. That's the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, back to a tropical storm or some sort of a hybrid system later on Friday. Here's the current wind speeds in some of these locations. Gusts up to 33 in Orlando, close to 30 in Tampa right now. Here's that tornado watch, or Storm Prediction Center is identifying locations where conditions remain favorable for the development of tornadoes. That's in effect until 8 o'clock. A couple of flash flood warnings where flash flooding is either happening right now or it's imminent. It's going to be happening. Lightning associated with some of the heavier rain bands that are on the way. You can see the motion that's going on the way to Jacksonville and then eventually into Georgia. With that rain comes the likelihood that there's going to be flash flooding through tomorrow morning in some of these areas, really from Cedar Key, where we've already seen one heck of a mess, all the way up to Savannah, Molly, and even Charleston as well.
Well, Chris, here's what we know about Tropical Storm Elsa right now. The storm is sustaining 50-mile-per-hour winds, making it a powerful tropical storm. Crews are working to restore power to thousands of Floridians as Elsa moves away from the Sunshine State. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp has expanded his emergency order to 92 southern counties, and North Carolina has activated its Emergency Operations Center as the state braces for Elsa's wrath. And it could potentially be the coast of North Carolina that ends up seeing some of the stronger winds. Here's the track of Elsa, the projected track. Remember, this is the center of the storm, so we will see impacts well outside of that, but the center moves right over Augusta and Augusta National up through Raleigh and then makes its way up the eastern seaboard. This is where Elsa is right now, pretty much right across I-10 and where I-10 and I-75 intersect, pushing a plume of moisture into Jacksonville as well as a lot of lightning. Potentially, you have to watch out for any really quick spin-ups too. Anytime that we have tropical systems make landfall, some of the friction starts to interact and you can get those really brief tornadic spin-ups. Going into the future, high-res future radar, this moves into Brunswick around 6 to 8 p.m. this evening with a deluge of heavy rain up into the Savannah area, Tybee Island, pushing into Charleston overnight, and then Wilmington for tomorrow morning. But look at this, some of that moisture trails all the way back still into Florida on the trailing end of that. So Florida, even when this moves off, you're not quite done with Elsa yet. For tomorrow, the severe weather threat ramps up for Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington. Some very strong winds possible along the Hatteras Cape into Morehead City. Zoning into the Raleigh area. Raleigh, it's going to be a messy morning for you tomorrow with a lot of heavy rain, potentially some lightning, some thunder, some gusty winds around 30, even 40 miles per hour. But this moves out by the time we get to Thursday evening. Stay with us as we continue to track Elsa.
He looked after his community.
She built an empire.
Fought for his people.
Protected this nation. They are the heroes in my family.
Who are the heroes in yours?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Only pay for what you need. With customized car insurance from Liberty Mutual. Nothing rhymes with Liberty Mutual.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Attention anyone on Medicare. Did you know you may now be eligible for additional Medicare-approved benefits, including free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free home prescription delivery, and free rides to medical appointments?
We're both on Medicare and talked with an insurance agent. But we've been hearing a lot lately about newer plans with additional benefits. and want to make sure that we're getting all the benefits that we're entitled to.
If you're not 100% sure about your Medicare benefits, it's time to call the Medicare helpline. The call is free. You could be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan with no copays, no deductibles, and no monthly premiums. That's no as in zero.
Is it true that I don't automatically get the new additional benefits? But if I call, your agents can look up what plan I'm on and let me know if I'm getting all the benefits I'm entitled to.
That's right. Call now to instantly find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits. You don't get these automatically, so call and see if you're eligible. The call is free and there is no obligation to enroll. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify.
Our friends are all saying we should call right now to see if we can get new additional Medicare-approved benefits. But with so many people over 65 trying to call, won't the lines be busy?
The Medicare helpline is open to help anyone on Medicare make sure you are getting the benefits you deserve. Just call 800-207-0902 now to find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits, including free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free home prescription delivery, and free rides to medical appointments. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. Call 800-207-0902. That's 800-207-0902.
Here's important information for anyone with an annuity or structured settlement. It's your right to sell all or part of your annuity payments for the cash you need now. Whether you need to make an important purchase, pay off debt, or build a business, call the pros at Peachtree today. We can help you get the cash you need. We're professionals at buying structured settlements.
Hi, I'm Maggie from Peachtree. We've been helping people for over 20 years. We can help you turn your settlement or annuity payments into the cash you need for a new car, housing, or to manage debt. Recently, I helped a customer get money for fertility treatments to start a family. It's your money, and you have the right to use it now.
Get your money faster by calling Peachtree now at 1-800-PEACHTREE. That's 1-800-PEACHTREE. Call today for a no-obligation quote and receive $25. Call now at 1-800-PEACHTREE or visit PeachtreeFinancial.com. Representatives are available now.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
This lightning would not quit in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Strong storms there produced a lot of lightning and strong wind gusts overnight. Crews are working to restore power to tens of thousands of people ahead of more storms expected today. And some of those storms already starting to pop in areas like Ohio as well as Michigan. We even have a brand new tornado warning in northern Illinois. This is right on the border of Illinois as well as Wisconsin. This is across the I-39 corridor where we've got a tornado warning. This is radar indicated for Rockton as well as Roscoe, the cities of Rockton and Roscoe until 2 p.m. local time. So if you live in this area, go ahead, take shelter, take those tornado precautions because this is a line. You can see that line of rain with an embedded area of rotation in that. So you will not see this coming. So extending this out, Rockton at 136, Manchester moving into your area around 154, Roscoe 144 for you. Let's move a little bit farther to the east. That's where we have a severe thunderstorm warning. This is in southern Michigan, right on the Great Lakes. We've got Buchanan as well as Lincoln under that severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15 local time. An additional severe thunderstorm warning in Ohio. This does include Ashland as well as Lafayette. That goes until 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, so local time. This is a dangerous thunderstorm where we could see some very gusty winds, lightning, and of course, very heavy rain embedded in that as well. This is just the beginning of what was going to be a pretty active day across many of the same areas where we've got severe thunderstorm watches in effect until 9 p.m. Eastern time for Detroit, Cleveland, Fort Wayne, up into the Saginaw area. This is going to continue to fire up over the next couple of hours, spread, become more widespread across the area, and ramp up a little bit in intensity. There's a lot of moisture in place. There's also a cold front draped across this area. It's nearly stationary right now with some embedded disturbances. All of that's going to work together to bring that severe weather threat from Detroit into Cleveland, all the way across Pennsylvania, into New York. Once again, you saw storms yesterday up into Hartford and even into Boston. That's all going to be this afternoon and evening. evening. So let's take you through future radar. Already seeing, of course, those storms across Ohio, back into Illinois and portions of Michigan, but this will continue to move into Pennsylvania. Quite a few strong storms across the Scranton area, moving into upstate New York, across the Albany area, and then eventually into Portland as we get into tomorrow morning. So a lot to watch here, Chris, but it's not only the storms for this afternoon that we're watching and this evening, but it's also Elsa, which is getting closer and closer to the northeast.
That's right. So when we look outside right now, we look live. There's some, pretty obvious shadows from the people walking down the boardwalk here in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Enough sunshine is getting through, and your stomach, you see that ride off in the distance there? Your stomach goes up into your throat and you get blasted off or dropped from that distance here. Well, you know what? With some of the storms that we come through, the storms make the weather change about as fast as the gravity does here on some of the rides in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. And then here comes this, right? So we're going to have thunderstorms. We saw thunderstorms last night and yesterday afternoon. We'll see it again tonight for the Northeast. And then there's this. This by Friday. So tomorrow you should be in pretty good shape in terms of not having to deal with Elsa yet until Friday morning or, late Thursday, the overnight hours leading into daybreak on Friday. Friday morning, 40-mile-per-hour tropical or some kind of a hybrid storm here as it is moving through either New Jersey, New York, and then through New England. And it's going to bring a lot of rain. And a lot of rain with tropical systems, no matter what latitude we're at, whether we're in Florida or up here in the Northeast, these tropical systems with that DNA are going to bring an awful lot of rain and can drop an awful lot of rain. This area of low pressure that we're going to watch here, this is now by 9 o'clock in the morning. So 3 or 4 in the morning here till 9 o'clock about here. This is showing quite a bit of rain coming into New Jersey and onto Long Island, into and onto Long Island. There's into Connecticut and Rhode Island with the Cape and the Islands also. Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket going to get hit pretty hard with some heavy rain, possibly pretty strong winds as well. So stormy times are on the way. And notice this is going to be a matter of hours as it works through, not a matter of several minutes like is typical with what we saw yesterday. Even though you get winds up to 60 miles an hour and some hail, some heavy rain with severe weather, this is going to be more of kind of a lashing, longer duration event here with the wind and the rain, with things, kind of blustery at times tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, but really picking up late tomorrow night into Friday morning, Molly, and then moving on through the rest of the day on Friday, eventually getting out of here late on Friday.
Well, Chris, we want to take you to Texas because even though this is not associated with Tropical Storm Elsa, this is a very tropical moisture moving through the Rockport and Fulton areas where you are under a flash flood emergency right now. And you can see more rain is still on the way, still currently falling in many of the same areas. This is a catastrophic threat for these cities. Again, Rockport and Fulton, where that flash flood emergency is in effect until 2:45 local time. So do not get out onto those flooded roadways. There are water rescues ongoing for many of these areas. About 5 inches of rain has already fallen for the city of Rockport, and we could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain over the same areas. This is all connected to some deep moisture in the Gulf of Mexico, because we could even see higher than 3 inches of rainfall additionally on top of what has already fallen.
Domino's is testing driverless delivery powered by Neuro, and it's got someone back to their old habits. Avoid the Noid when you get any 2 or more medium 2-topping Domino's pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
Why is it your grocery order arrives the second you remember everything you forgot to order? Like, without fail.
Who drank all the milk?
Fresh groceries and more. Unlimited free delivery. Walmart Plus.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving with sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
Hi, I'm Jimmy J.J. Walker. If you're on Medicare, listen to this. I called the 1-800 number to see what extra Medicare benefits I could get. An actual person answered, looked up my zip code, and boom, I was offered extra benefits like dental coverage, including dentures, extractions, fillings, plus prescriptions, transportation, meals, and so much more, all at no additional cost. And then I asked about the benefit that adds money to my Social Security check. And get this, I'm entitled to an extra $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year added to my Social Security check. And I was like, dynamite! Call the 1-800 number on the screen and see what you may be entitled to. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-510-0241. That's 1-800-510-0241 now.
It's time for Sleep Number's lowest prices of the season on the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It's the most comfortable, body sensing, automatically responding, energy building, dually adjustable, dad powering, wellness boosting, foot warming, temperature balancing, recovery assisting, effortlessly life-changing, proven quality night's sleep we've ever made. And now the new Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $8.99, only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Real people are finding real savings with Spectrum Mobile.
I switched because we wanted great service for less money.
With Spectrum Mobile, I'm saving over $650 a year.
We've actually saved $612 in half a year.
Use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator to find out how much you could save. Then get our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Call 844-230-8821.
Well, the idea that we can mix and match plans is great. This way we can adjust the plan to what our needs are at the moment.
These guys are unlimited, I'm By the Gig, and I've got more money in my wallet.
Get the flexibility you want with the savings you need, all with free nationwide talk and text and no contracts. Call 844-230-8821.
We're paying a lot less and getting a whole lot more.
I'm wondering why I didn't switch to Spectrum Mobile a lot sooner than what I actually did.
Get Spectrum Mobile with our unlimited data plan for $45 a line or our By the Gig plan for $14 a gig. Visit a Spectrum store, go to spectrummobile.com, or call 844-230-8821.
Even as the world opens back up, some social distancing is still highly recommended. Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
Right now, people doing their best to dry out in the Texas Panhandle. Heavy rain swamping streets here in Amarillo. Storms have dumped nearly 3 inches of rain over the last 24 hours, and some areas have seen even more. But moisture from the Gulf Coast is bringing a flood threat to the southern part of the state, and you can see that on radar right now. We actually have a flash flood emergency ongoing for the cities of Rockport as well as Fulton. And here's why. Look at this just direct stream from the Gulf of Mexico. All of that moisture is moving in over the same areas repeatedly. And so even though we have that flash flood emergency in effect, it is still raining in many of the same areas that have seen upwards of 5 inches of rain. So that flash flood emergency extends until 2:45 local time, with the threat being catastrophic. This is 5 inches of rain, Over the past 12 hours, of course, it is still raining. We could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain. And because this is tropical moisture, it is directly from the Gulf of Mexico, we could see rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches of rain per hour in many of these areas. And areas like Victoria, Texas, where it's raining as well. This is the same area that you are already 15 inches of rain above your average that you see by this time of year. So you really don't need any more. Where we are very likely to see that flooding is going to be from Victoria all the way down through Corpus Christi, the Rockport area, into Brownsville, the southern end of Texas. And when you see days like this, the high-risk flash flooding days, 35% of flood deaths occur on days like today. So you have to take this seriously. It's so important that you do not drive across flooded roadways and that you get to higher ground if you find yourself under a flash flood emergency. This is the atmospheric moisture. Basically, this is the amount of moisture that's in the atmosphere that some of these storms can tap into. And right now, it is extremely high, where you see those dark reds as well as those bright pinks. And that does include the Corpus Christi area as well as into Brownsville. Future radar shows that we will see ongoing rain continuing across the same areas. The rain train setting up just in the north of Corpus Christi, where we will see repeated heavy rainfall directly from the Gulf moving into Corpus Christi as well as Victoria, eventually extending up into the Houston area. This is tropical moisture. So you're talking about rich moisture for these areas. And this doesn't have a name, Chris, and it doesn't need a name to cause a lot of problems. Unfortunately, it's going to continue raining for about the next 24 hours in these areas.
And tropical systems, even when they lose their name, can still bring some very serious issues here. And as we look at some of the big waves that were lapping up onto the roadway in Cedar Key, Florida, are crashing up over the roadway here. Tropical storm Elsa making another landfall about 2 hours north of this spot right here. Of course, the first landfall was in Cuba. And then here, as it was coming on shore, some wind gusts up to about 57 miles an hour. About 3 inches of rain has fallen here in the past 24 hours or so, with more rain to come as this system is slowly moving onshore, moving to the north at 14 miles an hour. So still going in this direction. Eventually, it's going to head this way. It's going to make a modest right turn, head up Interstate 95, essentially. And as it does, it will bring its rain. It will bring its tornado threat with it over the next several hours, next couple of days. Eventually going to see it re-strengthen as it's going to weaken again overnight tonight. Again, a 50-mile-an-hour storm now. By morning, as it's spent more time now over land, likely to weaken and come down to 35, but back up to 40 as it interacts with some of the action that's going on to the northeast. Got a little dip in the jet stream up there, and we're going to see it get back over water. And as it does that, we're going to see more rain, more wind over parts of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. But before that, all of these red shaded counties in either Florida or here in Georgia to the north is where there is a tornado watch currently posted. Watch, of course, means conditions are favorable for the development of tornadoes. And if we get a warning, it means there's either a tornado in progress or it's about to be. But again, watch posted until 8 o'clock for these areas. Warning for flooding, flash flood warning currently in effect here for Madison County. This does include Lee and Madison until 4 o'clock Eastern time, with a lot of rain being estimated by radar. You can still see it wrapping around this area of low pressure, and things are a bit more squally right here. So you get the rain and the wind that's still bearing down on the southern side of Jacksonville right now and continue to move into Jacksonville over the next hour or so. Here's the threat for flooding, not only where it's possible. I mean, we're looking at parts of Mississippi, Alabama, into Georgia and the Carolinas, but it's this yellow area here where not only, again, is it possible through tomorrow morning that we're going to see some flooding, it is likely. Make sure you keep it right here. Stay tuned to the Weather Channel for continuing coverage as we track Elsa with live reports and expert analysis you will only find right here on the Weather Channel.
Get more out of summer with savings on appliances for every function, style, and finish during the Home Depot's 4th of July savings. Save on appliances like this Samsung kitchen suite. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Hi, Verizon launched the first 5G network, and now we want to be the first to give everyone the joy of 5G by giving every customer a new 5G phone on us. Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms, every customer, new 5G phones when you trade in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since now. Upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Keeping your oyster business growing has you swamped. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/hire and get started today.
Attention. Medicare recipients are entitled to save money and get significant new benefits at no additional cost.
Hi folks, Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate co-pays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit.
I called to get the new benefits and save money, so I'm not spending money I don't have to spend.
With this virus situation, I called to get everything I'm entitled to. I couldn't believe I was missing out on so many benefits.
Reality is, it's a very uncertain year ahead, so you need to be sure your health care coverage is up to date. Call now. It's free.
I called to get dental, transportation, meals, and the Give Back benefit. They helped me so much.
Get dental care, dentures, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals at no additional cost. And your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month.
With the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare coverage helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-442-6400. That's 1-800-442-6400 now.
Yeah, we'll share our home address for French fries.
It's easy to be unsafe.
So I gave your birth date for free parking.
That's how I got this robe. Now it's easy to help protect yourself. Opt in to cyber safety at Norton.com.
We're changing our look. We're changing to make a difference for a more inclusive future. But one thing we're keeping the same is our great rice. We're Ben's Original.
Well, we're going to keep your eyes on this breaking news in Texas, where there is a flash flood emergency ongoing for Rockport as well as the city of Fulton. A lot of rain moving in. It has been raining pretty much all day, and it will continue to rain in many of the same areas. That flash flood emergency ongoing until 2:45 local time, and it is catastrophic. There's water rescues ongoing. There's backyards and roads that are completely inundated with water. It's so important in these kind of situations that you listen to local emergency officials. If they tell you to evacuate and get to higher ground, go. A lot of times they'll help you with those evacuations too. And never, ever drive across those flooded roadways. If you come to a road that has water completely over it, just turn around, find another route. It's not worth it for you. And also, you don't want to endanger the people that will potentially have to rescue you out of those flooded roadways. 5 inches of rain in the past 12 hours. We have some isolated amounts that we've seen higher than that, and an additional, Chris, 3 to 5 inches of rain expected. Certainly a situation, very dangerous situation ongoing in southern Texas.
All right, we'll keep tabs on that, but I want to get you caught up with our other top story here. That, of course, tropical storm Elsa, with power crews in the Northeast already mobilizing ahead of the storm's late week arrival. Right now, teams are restoring electricity after yesterday's severe weather. Right now, Elsa is working its way across northern Florida after making landfall for a second time, this time in the United States, in Taylor County. More than 21,000 customers without power in the Sunshine State. And as the storm treks into the southeast, Charleston, South Carolina will open public safety operations centers tonight. Again, this storm did make landfall as a 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm with pressure at 999 millibars around 11 o'clock this morning. Now the storm has come down to 50 miles an hour, still a tropical storm. It is still moving to the north. It's moving at 14 miles an hour. The pressure has come up a few millibars. Likely to see the pressure go up, the winds to come down through the overnight hours. However, even as the storm may be weakening, heading to depression status, it's still bringing a lot of rain down with it. So a lot of heavy rain still falling, with some of these bands really packing a big punch of heavy rain, some now moving into Jacksonville. The storm itself getting down to a depression for a time and then back up to a tropical storm or an extratropical storm by the time it gets up closer to Canada into some of these higher latitudes here. But the northeast will be up here after this moves through the southeast and into the mid-Atlantic. More lightning now is being indicated here just to the southwest of Jacksonville as those storms are moving in that direction with a lot of heavy rain. And in that direction is an atmosphere that is going to be conducive. It's favorable for the development of tornadoes with that low that's coming up here on the right side of it as the storm is moving in. Some of these storms likely to spin. And when that happens, we can see some of these tornadoes form, and that's what we're looking at with that watch. Now, for Valdosta here in Georgia, so we're seeing an extension now of the flash flood warnings. There's one, there's two. This one here on the Florida-Georgia border, and now one entirely in Georgia. I would imagine this is not the last one we're going to be seeing here. This flash flood warning in effect until 7:30, and not seeing any significant letting up in the rain. It's not weakening much in terms of the amount of rain we're seeing, and we're looking at this rain kind of has that kind of a look as it's going in this direction, as we're also seeing it go like that. So we're seeing quite a bit of heavy rain right now across parts of Florida. Tropical storm warning, so tropical storm conditions expected in these areas in red. And on top of that, some of these areas could see tornadoes. Tropical storm watch is posted all the way up to New Jersey. And we'll see if that switches over to tropical storm warnings here in the next day or so. Seeing a lot of the surge warnings come down, still tropical or a storm surge warning for parts of Florida. The latest water rises up to about 1.5 feet in Cedar Key, Molly, as this storm continues to make its way inland here and continue to bring a big flooding mess.
Well, we've got some new video. This is from Tropical Storm Elsa starting to work its way into Georgia. This is new video from the Florida-Georgia border. You can see the rain already forming puddles on the ground, and power crews are staged and ready to go. That is because Elsa getting closer and closer to Georgia, already moving into portions of South Georgia, as well as areas like Brunswick with Savannah next up. So we have to talk about the severe thunderstorms possible. Jacksonville, where you've got some lightning headed in your direction right now. Brunswick up the I-95 corridor, Savannah, Tybee Island, Charleston, Folly Beach, even extending into northern portions of South Carolina as well as North Carolina for tomorrow. This is where the heavy rain is right now, pushing right into Jacksonville. I would not want to be on I-95, I-10, or I-75 today. It's just a deluge of rain moving through, and that's not going to let up for the next couple of hours. Thankfully, Elsa is going to pick up speed as it pushes to the northeast, and this is where we're tracking the center of Elsa. You have to remember, this cone is the center. It is not the entire storm. We will likely feel impacts well outside of the center, and that's what we're seeing right now in Jacksonville. That's what we'll continue to see in the Georgia coast as well as up into Charleston. Let's take you a little bit into the future, into this evening. Look at that heavy rain, just wave after wave slamming into Brunswick this evening, where we could see gusty winds upwards of 30, even 35 miles per hour, as well as you have to be careful of those isolated spin-ups. We have a tornado watch in effect, and when we have these tropical systems that move on land, they get some of the friction interacting with the land as well. You've already got the spin, the motion of that tropical system, and so those isolated spin-ups can happen very quickly, and typically they're wrapped in rain, a lot of rainfall with this, so you will not see them coming, and they happen very quickly. This will continue through the Charleston area for tomorrow morning, eventually making its way into Wilmington. This is Thursday morning, making it a rough morning at areas like Wilmington, the North Carolina coast, as well as up into the Raleigh area, where it's going to be a very, very soggy start to your Thursday. The wind speeds picking up along the Georgia coast this evening, and then for Charleston tomorrow morning. But where I think we're going to see the strongest winds, that's going to be just off the coast of North Carolina. So Morehead City, the Hatteras Cape could see some wind gusts on the order of 40, even 50 miles per hour as this tries to tap into some of the very warm water of the Gulf Stream and intensify just a little bit as far as those wind speeds go. This is a look into Raleigh. So 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, the rain starts moving in, and it really doesn't let up until we get to tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow evening, that's when Elsa eventually lifts completely out of your area. So Chris, we have a long way to go. Raleigh for tomorrow. And then beyond that, we're talking about pretty much every city along the eastern seaboard is going to feel some kind of impact from Elsa.
Yeah, cruising right up that 95 quarter. And this is coming right after some severe weather came through yesterday. Tens of thousands of people without power right now after some severe storms did tear through the Northeast. 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts and heavy rain helped topple some large trees like the one here in Glen Rock, New Jersey. Crews cleaning up debris and working to restore power. They have to act quickly because things could get worse as early as today, this evening. In fact, storms are firing up right now, and then by the end of the week, got to deal with Elsa. And here's the cone, so somewhere in here, just outside of it, will be the center of the storm. So it's still a chance, you know, anything on this side, and this is where the center might go, would be on shore. So that would be likely a weaker storm, but nonetheless, still coming from the tropics, bringing a decent round of heavy rain. And that heavy rain likely to add up. Some areas 3 to 5 inches expected. This is through Friday, with some of the worst weather happening in the Northeast overnight Thursday into early Friday, and then eventually we're going to watch this move out of here. And here's it moving out of here, moving offshore. According to the GFS model, which has done a pretty good job for the entirety of this system, here's 9 o'clock Friday morning, and here's through the afternoon, and now by the evening, nighttime hours, it's out of here with some back-end bonus showers, perhaps. But once it gets through, at least get a little bit of a breathing room here. Some of the strongest winds expected with the heart of the storm. Here's 4 o'clock Thursday, and we'll watch overnight Thursday. The stronger winds for Ocean City, Maryland, up to Atlantic City. Could say 40 to 50 mile an hour winds at the beaches. Up to 30 miles an hour here overnight Thursday into Friday for Atlantic City. And then again by Friday afternoon for the most part. Molly, this will be out of here in the Northeast.
Thanks, Chris. Let's get back to the breaking news on the flash flood emergency for Rockport, Texas. Joining us on the phone right now is Rockport Mayor Pat Rios. Mayor Rios, thank you so much for joining us. What's going on in the city of Rockport right now? We've seen reports of some water rescues.
That's correct. We've got lots of things going on right now. We've had about half a year's rainfall in the last few hours. With rain already the last few days, it's packed up, stacked up. It's a perfect storm. We've got a combination of high tide right now, and we live on a peninsula with almost no topography, so there's very, very few places for the water to drain off to. A lot of people are unnecessarily taking chances. We've got rescue crews out right now in dump trucks, in our police Bearcat. We have a backhoe out pulling people out of low water crossings. Our advice is, stay home, turn around, don't drown. People taking too many chances right now.
Do you have any evacuations going on in areas where the water has piled up to a point that maybe it's starting to move into houses or into some homes?
We do have water moving into homes right now, but we have not started an evacuation process. We really have no place to put them. Very difficult to get to them right now because, again, we have to be very careful not to endanger our rescue crews also. Where we can get to people, we're picking them up and moving them with relatives. We have not opened up a shelter yet, but we're contemplating that. I've been in contact with our county judge and our emergency management coordinator working on that this afternoon.
Well, with the rain still falling in Rockport, obviously the situation is continuing to get worse. What is your message to the people of the city as this continues to get worse in Rockport?
Well, we're encouraging people to stay home Don't take any chances. So many of our streets are closed or impassable. It's if you don't need to be out, don't be part of the problem. Stay off the streets so we can keep our emergency crews moving. And if you run into problems, call our non-emergency number and report your situation, and we'll put you on the list to see what we can do for you.
All right. Mayor Pat Rios, thank you so much for joining us, the mayor of Rockport, Texas, where there's a flash flood emergency ongoing right now. We'll have more on that flash flood emergency coming up. But first, we now want to send it over to Chris Warren, who is watching some severe chances for the Northeast once again today.
Yeah, once again, because we were certainly watching it yesterday. And here, the view of lower Manhattan from New Jersey, from Jersey City. You can see some of the storms hanging over. And this as the city, New York City, was getting slammed by some big-time storms, some heavy rain, some lightning. And once again, today, the potential for more severe storms. In fact, thunderstorms are firing up south of Albany here. If you head up the Hudson River Valley there, some thunderstorms. Also, quite a bit of thunderstorm activity from West Virginia and Pennsylvania through Ohio and into Michigan right now. Severe thunderstorm warnings currently up for several locations. We saw a tornado warning up here a little bit earlier. Now severe weather with damaging winds. Could see some large hail as well out of some of these storms outside of Detroit and into Canada. Some of the storms south of Port Huron. And you see even a little outflow boundary right there. Sometimes these outflow boundaries can interact with other storms to get a little extra pop out of it and possibly create new storms. Pontiac, Michigan, again, down south to 95 or 75. Severe thunderstorm warning on the way to Toledo. South of Toledo as well, a severe thunderstorm warning. West of Akron, south of Akron, north of Cambridge, a severe thunderstorm warning. Watches, again, mean that conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather. And the warnings tell us that it's happening, and it's happening right now. When you get a warning, take action. You get a watch. I like to think of it as watch for warnings. And we are seeing, again, a lot of warnings in these areas, and we'll be seeing more warnings in these areas right here. So millions of people, under tens of millions of people, under the possibility, under the threat for some strong storms, possibly large hail, but even some winds could be stronger than what we saw with Elsa. Could see winds for some areas up to around 70 miles an hour. So can't rule that out with some of the severe weather in the Northeast today. Here's Pittsburgh and some of the storms that are firing up here at the moment with a lot of lightning associated with these storms. And even where there's not official watches or warnings, there's still some dangerous weather. Remember, lightning's always dangerous, and oftentimes the lightning is an indication of an intense storm. And with the kind of moisture we have in the atmosphere, you go outside and it feels sticky. That is an indication there's a lot of fuel for these storms, which is going to turn into a lot of rain. So the lightning indicates likely some heavy rainfall and some high rainfall rates. So flooding a concern, or at the very least, ponding on the roadways and reduced visibility as you're trying to get around town. Here's the thunderstorm threat going through the overnight hours tonight. And you can see the motion in which it's going to be going and still firing by tomorrow morning in parts of Ohio. But today, really from Illinois, Indiana, all the way to Cape Cod, Molly, there's the threat for some of the stronger storms. Then, of course, the Northeast has to think about what's right behind you.
Here comes Elsa right after that. So any power outages that happen today, potentially, we could see some more tomorrow with Elsa moving through, and that will extend into Friday. This is the latest on Elsa, the latest advisory, 50 mile per hour, as well as the pressure up a little bit. So the winds are down, the pressure is up. That's signs that this is weakening, but still causing a lot of problems for northern Florida with a lot of rain and lightning and gusty winds, as well as we're still watching for the tornado threat, those isolated spin-ups that always happen with landfalling tropical systems. A tornado watch out until 8 p.m. this evening from Jacksonville all the way up the I-95 corridor into the Savannah area. There's all the rain right now. A lot of lightning moving into Jacksonville as well. Stay with the Weather Channel for continuing coverage as we track Elsa. Live reports and expert analysis you won't get anywhere else.
Here you go. Let me help you.
Hi, Mr. Charles. We made you dinner.
Oh, thank you.
Ready to eat?
Yes, I am.
Attention, anyone on Medicare. Did you know you may now be eligible for additional benefits, including free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free home prescription delivery, and free rides to medical appointments?
Can I just call and go over my prescription medications to see if I can be saving any money?
Yes. You could potentially save more than $1,000 per year on your prescription drugs. If you're not 100% sure about your Medicare benefits or want to see if you can save on prescription costs, call the Medicare helpline. The call is free. You could be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan with no copays, no deductibles, and no monthly premiums. That's no as in zero.
How do we know that we're getting all the benefits that are available?
Millions of Americans may not have all of the benefits that are available to them right now. That's why calling to make sure your Medicare plan is updated for 2021 is so important. Call now to see if you are eligible to save money and get additional benefits. You don't get these automatically, so call and see if you're eligible. The call is free and there is no obligation to enroll. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify.
We are so glad that we called. We found out that we are eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan with $0 monthly premiums and deductibles. Plus, no copays.
The Medicare helpline is open to help anyone on Medicare make sure you are getting all the benefits available to you. Just call 800-208-8201 now to find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that may include additional benefits like free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free prescription delivery, and free rides to medical appointments. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. Just call 800-208-8201. That's 800-208-8201.
At K-12, I'm
one of a million students
who've chosen public school at home,
where I get personalized attention and learn in a place that works for me.
These schools may not be for everyone, but they're here for anyone. K-12, education for anyone.
Style didn't always come easy. Until now. Made with athletic comfort and soft Italian leather. Step into the best of both worlds at wolfendshepherd.com.
At Loan Depot, we know home means everything. We're at the ballpark, across the nation, and just down the street. Loan Depot, home purchase, home refinance, and the official mortgage provider of Major League Baseball.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign, get ready for something big.
If you have Graves' disease, tears are often a cry for help. The redness may be a warning. And you can't dream if you can't keep your eyes shut. Up to 50% of people with Graves' disease will develop thyroid eye disease. If you have symptoms like watery eyes, redness, pain, or bulging eyes, find a specialist at isitted.com.
Over 150,000 people with non-valvular AFib have left blood thinners behind with Watchman, a safe, one-time procedure that reduces stroke risk and bleeding worry for life. Watchman. It's one time for a lifetime.
A lot can happen with a simple tell your story. Get people excited. To get connected, to share, and sell anywhere, and start making a different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Currently in our area, 93 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 75. Chance of rain 90%. Thursday, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon, high 85. Chance of rain 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Around here, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute.
I love to watch the waves after a storm. The storm can be long gone, but the waves just keep going.
Ask my history teacher where to go to college. He said, go where you like the weather. Best advice I've ever gotten.
Get into the out there. The Weather Channel.
We're continuing to watch breaking news out of Texas, the city of Rockport and the city of Fulton under a flash flood emergency with catastrophic flooding happening right now. A lot of water on the roadways. We just spoke to the mayor of Rockport, Pat Rios, and he said that the emergency crews have been activated. They are actively doing some water rescues as they have seen just way too much rain in a short amount of time. We have seen some reports of those water rescues happening. You can see high water over a few roads in the city of Rockport as well as Fulton, and even some backyards covered in inches of water. They've seen 5 inches of rain in the last 12 hours, and there'll be areas that see even more than that as the rain continues to fall. We could see an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain at times as some of the really heavy pockets of rain come off the Gulf of Mexico. We're looking at rainfall rates 2 to 3 inches per hour. Very likely to see flash flooding through tomorrow morning in the area that you see in red. And when we have a high-risk flash flooding day like this, 35% of all flood deaths happen on days like today, these high-risk days. So you have to be so careful and take this very seriously, especially, Chris, where we have this flash flood emergency going until 2:45 local time.
And then the threat for flash flooding exists with Elsa. As we're tracking Elsa, tropical storm Elsa with a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm. It's moving to the north at 14 miles an hour, and it will continue to move through Georgia, the Carolinas, and then eventually all the way up to the northeast with some strong winds at times. And also there's going to be this heavy rain, and with the flood threat also comes a tornado threat for some. Right now, lightning showing up just west of Jacksonville and some of the Jacksonville suburbs here. Flash flooding happening here between Perry and Valdosta, including Valdosta, Georgia. So right along the Florida-Georgia border, the northern part is where there is some of the heavier rain and some of the more dangerous weather, frankly, right now. And then as the storm continues to weaken, it will still be bringing some heavy rain to many of these locations, and then could be back to tropical storm strength by Friday morning as it is interacting with the northeast with wind and rain before finally, Molly, getting out of the United States and into Canada and beyond by Saturday.
The good news is it is going to pick up speed, so that's going to at least bring it through very quickly, many of these areas. Well, they're planting the red flag warning on the beach in Clearwater, Florida this morning. Elsa may have roared past the region already, but the storm has riled up the Gulf of Mexico, which is creating those dangerous rip current conditions along the beaches in Florida and elsewhere. It's not just Florida that's seeing those really strong rip currents. It's going to be pretty much all along the Atlantic coast as well. There's Elsa currently spawning some flash flood warnings right on the Georgia-Florida border. A lot of rain moving into Jacksonville, as well as a lot of strong lightning and some gusty winds. Where we are seeing some gusty winds and that onshore flow, really strong onshore flow, is in portions of Florida. The surge amount, though, is coming down. If you were joining us at the beginning about 2 hours ago, we had about a foot of surge in areas like Fort Myers, Port Manatee, as well as Old Port Tampa, but that's coming down slowly, and also coming down in areas like Cedar Key. Just about an hour or two ago, it was 2.5 feet of storm surge, but now we're down to a foot. So that water level is slowly coming down as Elsa continues to quickly pull away from many of these areas. But behind that, I mean, look at these winds just roaring right onto shore there. That's going to cause some very dangerous rip current conditions. When you get that onshore flow, it allows the water to pile up, and then it has to have some way to go back out, and that's when you get those rip currents. So if you see those flags flying, especially the red flags, do not get in the water in Florida. It is just not worth it. Panama City, that high risk of rip currents, as well as Jacksonville. Of course, not a great beach day at Jacksonville anyways, but this continues Savannah, Charleston, all the way up through Hatteras, Norfolk, up to Atlantic City, and even into Nantucket. So, Chris, we got a long way to go with this and several not so great beach days, at least until we get to Friday, Saturday. I'd say it starts to improve on Sunday. Yeah. Holding on to something here.
Yeah, and at least holding on to it at some point during the weekend. So that may be a good thing. But the life of Elsa, wow. from the Atlantic through the Caribbean and making an exit out of the United States by late Friday into Saturday morning. It is going to be cruising through with winds sustained at 40 miles, even 45 miles an hour at times in the Northeast. This is the American model. Give you an idea of how it may play out with a closed low over the Delmarva and then eventually back out over sea. And in this scenario, it's going to be some pretty stormy times at the eastern end of Long Island there from the Hamptons to Montauk and then eventually Massachusetts, including Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. Should be pretty stormy as the system moves through during the day on Friday and should be out of here by Saturday. Now look at the European model. This is showing a much stronger system Friday morning. And so let's root for the GFS because the European certainly showing a much stronger system moving through the Northeast Friday into early Saturday.